Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the Twin Astrology weekly forecast, energies in and around the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. I was looking at the astrology, and all I want to say is the energy is like this volcano that is about to erupt. We have a very powerful and intense month ahead. Intense, I feel, is kind of like an understatement. So if you have not already done so, do feel free to hit that subscribe button below to join the channel, and let's talk about these energies for the twins. You know, the highlight this month in February is when Venus and Mars conjunct in Capricorn, where the two lovers will be meeting and holding hands in this conjunction almost throughout the entire month, which is a very unusually long period of time. And this conjunction will become exact on February the 16th, during that full moon in Leo, when Mars becomes confident and determined in its exalted sign and prepares to sweep Venus off of her feet. So I feel many are awakening when it comes to this higher heart activation. And the masculines are going to want to act on their impulses. I feel this eruption of passion, love, and determination. And I kind of feel the feminines are kind of in this sleeping state after that Venus retrograde motion. And I feel it's going to take a lot for the feminine to want to match up with Mars again. And I feel for a record 2 weeks, they will be at the very same degree. So, you know, they will conjunct again on March the 6th at 0 degrees Aquarius. And that's when we're going to feel this renewed sense of purpose when it comes to this mission, when it comes to this journey. So I kind of feel until then, the masculines are meeting themselves in the underworld, in this energy of Pluto, of higher truth. And this energy really is pushing the masculine to be brave when it comes to having their heart in the right place. So I think get ready for intentions to be crystal clear. The masculine is going through this extreme stripping of the ego is kind of what I feel. And this truly is not a journey for the faint of heart. So let's talk about the energies this week, and we'll break it down day to day. On Monday, January 31st, the day before the new moon in Aquarius, we do have the moon entering into Aquarius. So with the moon in Aquarius, emotions are going to be very, very complicated because many of us want to free ourselves from all of these negative stuck emotions such as fear, anger, and jealousy. So I think the energy is going to feel incredibly intolerant, especially when it comes to the masculine repressing all of these emotions. So I do feel it is about acting on instincts. It is about, you know, unconsciously getting yourself out of this hole that you've dug. A lot of these masculines are dealing with a lot of external forces beyond their control when it comes to accepting their current reality that they've manifested for themselves. So I kind of feel we're all kind of being called to be that observer with the moon in Aquarius. And it really is a good time for all of us to seek that impartial advice. I do feel when it comes to relationships, it's going to be very unpredictable, very unrivaled when it comes to partnerships. And I do feel this deep, deep need for freedom of expression. So do get ready for a lot of moodiness and a lot of unpredictability when it comes to the false karmic contracts. And this really is to get the masculine to understand the feelings that he's been repressing on his heart and to get rid of that fear when it comes to being deeply intimate with another. We also have the moon in the second house in Capricorn at 28 degrees 47. So the moon in the second house is going to herald all kinds of changes, especially when it comes to financial matters. I do feel a lot of the masculines are going to be hitting that rock bottom because their financial security is what has given them this healthy sense of emotional security. And when it comes to these matters, the masculine can no longer be dependent on these materialistic energies moving forward. So, you know, a lot of these masculines have been very cunning and very greedy, very hoarding with their time, their energy, and all of that stuff. So I feel, a lot of these masculines have placed their emotional satisfaction on the dependence of this external material comfort. So I think a lot of financial difficulties are going to create a lot of upheaval and emotional insecurities for the masculines, which will likely have a negative, strong impact on the household when it comes to those false foundations. We also have the sun in the second house, Jupiter in the second house, Saturn in the second house. So the sun in Aquarius really is like this illumination when it comes to resources, group resources, financial security, material values, and that deep desire to achieve material success. But I do feel this desire really is going to push the masculine to embrace this energy, because it's not simply about making money for the purpose of spending it. It's about making money for the purpose of making the world a better place. With Jupiter and Pisces also in the second house on Monday, this really is going to influence the divine masculine self-confidence and his attitude towards money and materialistic properties. So, money cannot buy you happiness. Money cannot buy you success. And I feel the masculine's really been extravagant when it comes to their materialistic pursuits. And it's likely going to get them in a lot of debt. A lot of financial debt. So I feel a lot of these masculines might even be facing bankruptcy in the energies this week when it comes to their extravagant nature. And then with Saturn, our very strict teacher in Aquarius, also in the second house, this is about restoring that connection through the heart when it comes to material security. So, I think get ready to encounter a lot of delays and a lot of obstacles. I kind of feel the masculines getting ripped off by the karmic energy is kind of what I'm feeling. Because the second house, it really isn't about describing your ego or your outward personality. The second house is really considered the house of money and financial affairs and financial matters. So one's self-worth is also laid out in this house. So a lot of the masculines put their self-worth dependent on financial security. So I feel it's kind of time for the masculine to gain a healthy sense of self-worth. And it's not based on how much money that they have. With the second house in Capricorn, I feel the principle when it comes to this is a lot of these masculines have a very materialistic consumer attitude when it comes to the world around them. And they really need to find those main life values in order for emotional security. So I kind of feel a lot of the masculines are going to be limited this week when it comes to their immediate needs, in order for them to clearly define their direction forward for a more prosperous development when it comes to this spiritual journey. So I feel a lot of the masculines are learning their emotional perceptions. I think a lot of chaotic events are taking place in and around the masculine this week in order for their perceptions to be directed towards personal ethics. I also feel a lot of the masculines are surrounded by a lot of rats. And I kind of feel this really is going to increase the intensity of the energies this week. I do feel a lot of the masculines are very nervous about the future. I think they're going through a lot of fragility when it comes to their financial stability, when it comes to this illusion of this stability that they've created for themselves. So I think a lot of anxious and unstable energies when it comes to the masculine, and this is going to be exaggerated with the energies. With Capricorn in the second house, it's really this energy of challenging times, I feel. And I don't think the masculine's going to be able to easily get his footing when it comes to this energy. It's kind of time for the masculine to get to the grindstone, to really do the deep dive when it comes to embracing the future. So when I think about Capricorn, it is earthly energies. It's very grounded energies. But on the challenging side of Capricorn in the second house, it's going to really highlight greed. A lot of these masculines have been very greedy, hoarding with their money, hoarding with their resources, breadcrumbing the divine feminine. And I do feel, at the core, maybe they don't desire to harm others, but it's just that they really fear that they're not going to have financial security. So they play into that greed. I think a lot of the masculines are deep within some sifting energies of a lot of misery. Whatever challenges the masculine are facing, it's because they've been a tightwad pretty much. And, they've been penny pinching and holding on to stuff so tightly that they can't get a grip on their reality. They've really avoided these challenges. And I feel all of these challenges are really going to be presented. The masculine's not going to be able to build that security or that wealth because he has to work towards balancing this karmic debt with the divine feminine. It's about working together when it comes to the future financial potential of the collective. A lot of these masculines have masked their emotional body through workaholism. A lot of these masculines are also alcoholics and they're workaholics. And they just constantly throw themselves completely into their work so they don't have to be emotionally vulnerable. So I kind of feel everything needs to come back into balance because the masculine really has lost out at the expense of this financial greediness when it comes to them denying personal enjoyment. So I kind of feel with the masculines really all of this energy building up, they forgot how to kind of enjoy life again. So I think a lot of the masculines are being triggered when it comes to the memories of this connection. And this is becoming a very heavy load, a very heavy burden. When we look at Capricorn in the positive light, the strengths of Capricorn in the second house, this is going to give the masculine an opportunity to become incredibly self-disciplined, to release all of this self-gratification, and to do the long-term hard work to persevere moving forward. So whatever the masculine has been denying himself, this is like a recipe for disaster in order for the masculine to kind of step into service with the divine feminine. In high vibration, Capricorn in the second house is about being financially wise, doing the right thing. It's not so much being prudent, but it's about making those informed decisions. So I think patience is another energy that come through that I wrote about, resilience and financial planning. So I think all of this is coming up to be addressed in order for the masculine to be pushed through this time of resiliency when it comes to working through all of these rough spots, all of these karmic challenges that really have been keeping him down, pushing him towards his actual heart's calling, towards this mission, because future wealth is important to the collective when it comes to what it is that we are mapping out for the future. So I kind of feel this is really going to leave the masculine that one last chance to come forward with that communication with the divine feminine on Monday. On Tuesday, we have the full moon in Aquarius at 12 degrees 19. And this new moon is going to conjunct Saturn and it's going to form a square with Uranus. So this is going to bring to the forefront all of the restrictions that we have been sifting through in 2021. So this really is marking the beginning of a new cycle, the beginning of the age of Aquarius, and it is marking the end of that Capricorn new moon cycle. So I think this is a time of friendship, brotherhood. I think brotherhood is in focus, group activities, social pursuits, group projects. It's all about humanitarian efforts when it comes to this Aquarius new moon. New beginnings regarding all of these matters are going to be possible now. And I feel this really is a time where we should solve all of these problems from the past by thinking outside of that programmed belief box. So I kind of feel brand new positive perspectives. A lot of hopeful visions are being restored. And this really is the perfect time for the masculine to come forward and brainstorm with the feminine. I think a lot of focus on extending that love offer, that apology. And I think the masculine really is receiving a lot of universal and cosmic support when it comes to these emotions, when it comes to this burst, this volcanic burst of emotions. A lot of these masculines have been detached from these past hauntings when it comes to learning this lesson. And they're not going to be able to avoid these destructive behaviors. They're going to have to face all of these bad habits, all of these destructive behaviors that have been holding them back when it comes to aligning to making progression and changes in their life. So I think the masculine's going to really have to pay attention this week. I think it's this sombering, sobering energy where resolution is needing to be reached in order to determine what this fresh new start is going to look like. So I kind of feel get ready for unexpected rebellious elements to surface during that new moon. This new moon is, like I said, occurring at 12 degrees 19. So I do feel many signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, are going to be deeply affected, the fixed signs. And because the new moon is going to be in the third house, and the third house governs communication, transformation, or transportation, and community. I think a lot of higher intellectual thought processing coming through. Aquarius is that big picture thinking. So I think really, looking at your surroundings, how you socially interact with others, and communication is going to be in focus. The third house is going to provide us with the information to understand how we, mingle with others, how we get along with others. And I think get ready for a revelation when it comes to people's true character and true personality. So I think many of us are being asked to kind of harness our cosmic intelligence and to share that effectively with others. Communication is what I keep hearing, communication. So I kind of feel those that are going to be influenced when it comes to this energy, it's really going to trigger a lot of coldness and restraint. A lot of these masculines have been very cold, very detached. They have not brought forward any communication, the ghosting, the lack of communication, very closed off energy, dry and silent energy. And I feel something is going to drastically shift this week when it comes to the masculine preparing to make that very sharp and loud statement. So I kind of feel communication is going to be of utmost importance. And a lot of these masculines fear communication because they deeply distrust everybody that they're kind of connected with right now. So when it comes to that new moon in Aquarius, we also have the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Venus, along with Pluto, all in the third house. That's a lot of Capricorn energy in the third house. The only Aquarian energy is the moon energy. So I kind of feel a lot of the masculines are really going to be consumed with some mental processes in order for them to mentally develop throughout this spiritual awakening journey. It is indicating short distance travel. I do feel a lot of these masculines have this deep emotional desire for this mental growth to travel towards the feminine, even though they're dealing with a lot of unfavorable circumstances this week. I feel with Mercury in the third house, there's a lot of conscious thinking taking place. A lot of that subconscious stimulus is coming into the conscious mind in order for the masculine to openly and honestly express himself. So a lot of deep thinking. We're going to need to be adaptable and versatile as all of these views come forward, being asked to be expressed. So I kind of feel with Venus in Capricorn in the third house at 11 degrees 14, this really is going to spark interest when it comes to creative art, occult culture, and stepping into our own artistic talent. So this really is going to be like a last ditch effort opportunity for the masculine to come forward and create art with the divine feminine. A lot of the feminines, we've already tapped into our creative nature. We've been writing, we've been channeling. A lot of the feminines have released any external conflicts over the journey. And I feel this really is putting the pressure on the masculine to reach an agreement or a compromise once and for all. And with Pluto in Capricorn in the third house, this is going to be a lot of interruptions when it comes to those false family structures, a lot of chaotic events that is going to create all of this upheaval for the masculine in order to allow them to understand the deeper meaning of the journey. I think whatever was remaining hidden will be coming up to be dealt with once and for all. I think the energy is going to be very controversial, and the masculine can no longer stay silent is what I'm feeling. So on Thursday, February 3rd, that is when Mercury stations direct. So this is kind of good news and not so good news. So with Mercury stationing so close to Pluto, this transit is going to be very, very intense. Mercury is also in the 4th house of home, family, roots, and deep emotions, especially when it comes to our sense of self-worth. With Mercury going direct, the great thing is whatever topics you've been stuck on, sifting through over the last 3 weeks while it was in retrograde, you're finally going to be able to get unstuck. But due to Pluto's scrutiny in the energy, you're going to have to be very mindful and truthful in how you move things forward. So this direct movement is likely going to instill a lot of confidence and analytical abilities for the divine masculine to grow up once and for all. So I kind of feel second chances when it comes to this renewal. I do feel the masculine will be able to, maybe be more flexible when it comes to communication. And this is really where we're going to witness all of the growth and development that we have been sifting through over the last several weeks. So I also feel major chances of the divine feminine financially gaining via an inheritance or an unexpected source of windfall is going to be possible for you, divine feminine, especially if you are just starting your entrepreneurial journey. This really is a perfect time to put all of that energy into action, because anything you put into action now will be guaranteed to flourish moving forward. So I think a lot of the masculines are being asked to impart their constructive and flexible ideas for developing new earth energies. And I think many of the masculines will be searching for a new job. I do feel a lot of the masculines are going to be course corrected when it comes to their career path. When Mercury stations direct, it is going to be in Capricorn at 24 degrees 22 and in the 4th house in Capricorn at 23 degrees 31. So a lot of mental activity when it comes to our home life. And I kind of feel a lot of changes. Get ready for the masculine's conditions to be upheaved. And I do feel it is a very irritable energy, and the masculine is not going to be able to relax. With the sun also in the 4th house and Pluto also in the 4th house, along with Saturn, this is really triggering that need to have those deep, strong roots within our family structure, to have that emotional and financial security, which really has eluded the masculine when it comes to their lack of traditions and accountability. So I think get ready to go back around when it comes to your family background, your family history, and everything that really has had a significant impact when it comes to that lack of security in your home life. With Saturn in the 4th house, this is really pushing the masculine to take responsibility when it comes to matters of the heart, family, and home life. And they've really lacked that discipline. And I feel, a lot of these masculines have feared embracing these changes. And they've got this deep, real fear of the unknown and stepping into this new experience, even though they do deeply long for that security that the feminine gives them. I think they can no longer stay remaining stuck in the past in that false contract. If they're not willing to embrace these changes, I do feel they're going to get hit with a major tower and being forced to move, especially with Pluto in the 4th house. This is going to create extreme tensions in your home life, especially in the karmic contracts. And, whether it's the masculine that's been domineering or the karmic that's been domineering, either way, there's going to be a major power struggle when it comes to that environment, when it comes to that social structure. And this is going to create that deep, strong bond when it comes to the masculine's mission. They're going to have to deal with this once and for all. On Friday, February 4th, we do have the Sun conjunct Mars, or the Sun conjunct Saturn, and Mars sextile Jupiter. So with the Sun conjunct Saturn, this is a very serious transit. This is really going to put us all to the test when it comes to our commitments and our visions for the future. A conjunction like this is signifying a new beginning, but you have to take the opportunities that are being birthed. You cannot stay stuck in commitments that are no longer working. It is about stepping into self-mastery, which is going to be required for many of the divine masculines. They're going to have to stand up. They've not been reliable, they've not been accountable, and it's time for them to stand up and to ensure that they can be counted on. Hard work and discipline is what comes to mind with that transit. And I feel the masculine really is needing to attend to his spiritual duties and his spiritual obligations when it comes to this union energy. They're going to have to take on extra responsibility at this point in time because they have been so lackadaisical when it comes to this connection. So I think for the feminine, this is going to be a great transit for satisfaction, achievements, recognition, and rewards. Many of the feminines are being promoted, graduating to the next level of the journey. And I feel, you know, a lot of the feminines really have secured that foundation. They've worked hard. And as the tables flip, the masculines are experiencing extreme hardship for their lack of dependability, their lack of responsibility over the last several years on the journey. So I think a lot of things are starting to fall apart in the masculine's world as a signal to change course, to start some new goals. And I feel, although it can be very sad and gut-wrenching to close out these karmic contracts, the masculine is going to need to come out of that isolation, to come out of that coldness, and to finally come forward and express himself. I feel, you know, he's not been dependable, he's not been trustworthy, and he's really not been that rock of stability that he was supposed to be when it comes to imparting spiritual wisdom within the collective. So I think a lot of structures are crumbling, whether these are physical structures from your home to your actual body. Your body is a structure, is a tower, is a temple. So I think the masculine is kind of being forced to unclutter his life, to remove all of this dead weight in order to make his life a little less complicated this week. With Mars sextile Jupiter transit, it's going to allow the masculine to feel strong and courageous. And this really is going to open up the gateway portal for him to tackle these difficulties and to take that chance to go after success. I feel a lot of the divine masculine's reputations have been shattered, and they're going to have to take initiative and find that inner willingness to take that risk, to take that leap of faith. I think a lot of the masculines, you know there's a lot of competition around the divine feminine because her heightened attractiveness is really hard to miss at this point in time. So I think that is a big fear for the divine masculine for sure. So I think this really is a good time for the masculine to come forward, to have that conversation. I do feel the feminine is like oozing this attractive sex appeal at this time that is pretty hard to ignore. And I feel that's going to be the trigger for this new adventure to begin. And let's keep going here. Yeah, on Sunday the 6th, then we have Mars square Chiron. So, you know, whenever there's an aspect to Chiron, it's always to trigger our deepest, darkest insecurities. We may find it more difficult to assert ourselves. We'll second guess the action we're going to take. I think a lot of the masculines are feeling clumsy and inadequate this week. But this energy really is bringing forward an opportunity for the divine masculine to transform these insecurities and to turn it into their treasured gold. This square really is an invitation for the masculine, the Mars energy, to assert themselves with empathy and to be conscious of how their negative actions really have impacted others. For many of us, our children were deeply affected from this connection. And I don't think the masculine has ever fully acknowledged the impact of his negative choices and how many lives it had hurt and destroyed in the process of his materialistic, vain pursuits. So I kind of feel it's this energy of going from victim to victor. So, you know, I think a lot of these masculines play the victim, pity party. Oh, poor, pitiful me. I have no power. All of this happens to me. And this victim mentality is just proof of how weak these masculines are, because we are never ever a victim. We are always consciously co-creating our reality. So I think if the masculine keeps playing into this victim mentality, they're going to attract even more harmful situations. So, you know, we never want to be a victim. We always have the ability to heal where we have been felt victimized from within. And this is where the masculine is going to have to gather his vulnerability and his inner strength. You know, we all get hurt on this journey. There's no denying the pain that we go through. But I feel with Mars and Chiron forming this square, it is really going to push the masculine to take a stand and to do something about these past actions in order to change his circumstances. Although the masculine, I feel, is feeling deeply inadequate at this time, they really need to find their inner strength from the inside out to know that we are always lovable. We are always worthy. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with us, especially if we don't feel confident. We don't have to feel confident to do something. Confidence comes with desired action and putting one foot in front of the other. So, you know, I know how uncomfortable it is to take that risk, to take that leap of faith in a new direction. But, you know, this complacency, this lack of competency that the masculine has displayed, it's kind of saying this week, the energy is saying, hello, divine masculine, you have to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere at that ground zero. And if he doesn't start now, nothing will ever change. We have to close the book on the past. I feel the masculine's been way off track. There's no success in any areas of their life. And they're really needing to learn to take action despite their lack of confidence. And that is when true magic can really happen within these connections. So I think a lot of the masculines have been taken advantage of. They got to learn to put in those healthy boundaries, to say no, especially when it comes to, you know, their life. I feel, you know, the actions and the behaviors of the masculine have deeply hurt others. Now is the time for them to say, I'm sorry once and for all. Not only to the people that they've hurt, but also to themselves. Everything begins with self-forgiveness. And these actions and these behaviors of the masculine have really forced them to go into facing this shame and this deep, uncomfortable evaluation of asking themselves, why? Why did I do this? And I feel all of this shame has to be transformed into their spiritual talent. And that indeed is the gift of that aspect. So let's pull into some cards and see what other energies need to come through for the twins for the week ahead. I am going to start off with, oh my God, what is this deck? Oh, the Shaman's Dream. So, oh my God, Fool's Embrace, Reconciliation. So, and then Resonating. So there's that brand new beginning coming forward. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are feeling like a fool. They've got to go into the depth of this pain like the feminine did. 22, a master number. So I kind of feel the dark side of the new moon is really putting the masculine in that fetal position when it comes to embracing just how deeply he betrayed the feminine and how much pain this really has caused people. So in order for this reconciliation to take place, the masculine has to go to that rock bottom and transmute this pain, to transmute this lesson. So, you know, I kind of feel they're at this rock bottom, and I do feel we know how unbearable that awakening is when the masculine rejects us, ghosts us, leaves us at rock bottom when they promised to be there for us. And I feel the masculine's experiencing extreme loss and betrayal. And this has been woven through their existence, this life. They've really been kept hostage by their own lack of self-identity. And I think, you know, they enjoy identifying with the pain. And I feel this pain is being etched on their heart like a tattoo. I'm hearing that Jordan Sparks song, Tattoo. You might want to listen to that. So, you know, it's like they've become addicted to the self-pity party. And I feel they're really at the low point of pain on this spectrum. And I feel this searing loss of the feminine is coming through. And it's really time to make amends and to make peace with the betrayal with the divine feminine. I think the masculines are kind of being forced to befriend this pain rather than repressing and resisting it. I feel they can no longer run from this. They have to face that karmic judgment, as unfair as it may seem, or as hostile as this takedown feels. This truly is to balance the scales, and they're going to have to surrender to this fool's embrace. They were foolish. They turned their back on the love and the compassion that the divine feminine offered them, and it's time for them to learn something new, is what I feel. Because whatever is truly yours will never ever pass you by. There is something so much better waiting for the divine masculine on the other side, but he's going to have to come to terms with all of the pain that he has caused people from his lack of acknowledgement. So in order for liberation and freedom from this deep-seated loss, he's going to have to go into this broken heart in order to restore his sense of humanity and compassion like the feminine did. So I feel integrating a lot of this spiritual wisdom that the twins have accumulated along their many, many lifetimes on Earth. And I feel the masculine will be preparing to come back to never let you down or lie to you again. And I feel the masculine really is being taught, the desperation of the journey, how desperate the feminine was when she was rejected. And I feel there's likely going to be someone serving as a catalyst, creating a lot of gritty discomfort for the masculine this week in order for him to discover this radical acceptance, because reconciliation is around the corner. So let's put all of that back. I do feel resonating at that 144 frequency. A lot of the feminines are coming into that alignment this week. So we'll dig into the masculine. That one really wanted to stay out. So the Fool's Embrace. Self-mastery. If you think of the low end of 22 is a 4, stagnant, stuck. So I feel stepping into that self-mastery. What else can you tell me about the divine masculine for the week ahead? Thank you. Yeah, and having that beginner's mindset. So definitely karmic cycles coming to a close, that beginner's mindset, and we are closing the door. Completion. The masculine is closing the door on the past, closing out a major karmic cycle, big changes as the masculine brings everything full circle this week. What needs to come through for the divine feminine, please, for the week ahead? Thank you. Surrender. So I think you just really need to surrender, because fortune is on your side. I do think a lot of divine inheritance, a lot of windfall energy is coming up for the divine feminine. And, that is the choices and facing the choices and the consequences. So I do feel the feminines are coming into a lot of luck, a lot of fortune. And all you need to do, divine feminine, is surrender, because there is a major turn in fortune. Luck is on your side. Divine timing has your back. So whatever true intentions you set, whatever wish you made, that is about to come true, and your wish is going to be granted. So dream big, because this is really an opportune moment for a lot of fortune to come forward that will benefit the collective moving forward, because the gift of fortune that is coming forward to you will be returned tenfold, because you're going to put that back into the collective when it comes to this gain. Because this gain is not only for you, divine feminine, it is for the collective. So I think a lot of magical synchronicities, a lot of magical events that will herald this fortunate arrival. So do get ready for a chance encounter, or that phone call to be placed, or that email to be sent. I do feel the masculine wants to invite you out. I'm hearing carpe diem, seize the day, carpe diem. So I feel just surrender, because you're rising, and the masculine is facing all of those negative consequences for his past poor choices, coming into radical acceptance of this beloved connection. As much as we want to run from this connection, we can no longer run from it. So radical acceptance, 100% of the heart, the mind, the body, and the soul when it comes to this union energy. So, you know, I kind of feel recognizing the many phases of the journey and everything that we've had to go through to kind of get to this point. But let's keep going with some cards. There's that call of the muse. There's the divine feminine dancing in the magical surrender of these universal forces, you know, building those strong roots of abundance. And I feel that call of the muse is kind of forcing the masculine to let go of the past once and for all, because we are completing this karmic cycle. Any other messages for the divine masculine? The rose's kiss. So I think get ready for an invitation as all of this closure comes through, because, you know, the masculine is being broken wide open like the feminine, and he's kind of in between lands at this point in time, going through profound life transformation. What else needs to come through for the divine feminine, please, for the week ahead? A deep breath. Just take a deep breath, relax, and know that everything's okay. Trust in your mystical healing capabilities. I think get ready for a time machine travel. I think it's time to go back, to reminisce, to bring something full circle, because rewards are around the corner, and we are preparing for that tender embrace, for that reconciliation. So divine masculine, I feel, is getting ready to come forward with that expression, to maybe offer some friendship, to forge ahead and bring forward that communication. What else can you tell me about the divine masculine? Tolerance, present. So I feel a lot of intolerant views of the masculine are coming back up in order for him to get back into the heart when it comes to this loving connection. And, you know, getting back in the present moment. It is in the present moment that all of these energy shifts can really shift for the positive. I think I do feel, you know, forgiveness is needed for this committed partnership to come forward. So I think, you know, forgiveness, the masculine needs to release all of these past hurts. I feel a lot of activation when it comes to the masculine coming forward and dedicating himself to this journey, to his beliefs wholeheartedly, knowing that love truly is the essence of his very being when it comes to this commitment. And divine feminine, you are transcending all of these obstacles, all of these lessons on your pathway to love were just part of your evolution. So I kind of feel the feminine is completely detaching. A lot of us have really released these old patterns, these old ideas, everything that's no longer served our highest ideals of love and the spiritual journey. And this is in turn transforming the divine masculine, transforming all of these illusions into that truth, into that awareness, kind of triggering the masculine to come forward in that integrity, to demonstrate that truth, honesty of the soul, and to manifest love in your every action. So let's see what else needs to come through for the masculine. Look at that divine masculine. Old patterns, wounding. So, you know, the masculine really has to make peace with all of these destructive choices, all of these addictive habits that he's been clinging to control with. And I do feel a lot of the masculines are facing this very challenging dynamic within the karmic soul contract, in order for them to bring up all of this past life wound, because the masculine's not taken action. He's not been logic. He's not used his reason. And he's really allowed his strength to be drained from him by playing into all of these negative vices. So I think a lot of past life wounds are coming up, and that karmic catalyst is triggering this to come to the surface. I feel creating all kinds of drama and chaos for the divine masculine. I also feel a lot of these karmics have had it. They're kind of fed up with the lack of reciprocity from the masculine as well. I don't think there's any more attraction there either in those false contracts, which in turn is creating this heightened awareness. So I do feel the masculine really is spending a lot of time alone this week, in order for them to find their authentic voice, to tap into, you know, all of this heightened awareness as they're receiving all of this clarity from the higher realities. I feel definitely a lot of inner introspection taking place for the masculine. And the only way he's going to be able to remove those blockages is for him to openly and honestly have that heart-to-heart conversation. And I kind of feel a lot of the signs really are pushing the masculine. The divine really is ripping all of those expectations away from the masculine. and orchestrating all of this energy in order to get the masculine to move. So I kind of feel the masculine really is learning a lesson in boundaries, preparing for this new life. So what else needs to come through for the divine feminine? Divine timing, baby. Divine timing. This really is time. You've done the work. And Spirit says you're ready for the next leg of this journey. So get ready for a breakthrough. You're going to need to spend some time in nature and to get grounded. Disconnect from some busyness, because Spirit says it's time, you're ready, and your hard work and your perseverance has paid off. So get ready for a breakthrough. You might have to face some challenges ahead. I think get ready for the karmic energy to try and come at you. I feel they're very angry. They're very angry. Whatever challenge is coming ahead, this really is part of the soul contract that you and your counterpart came here to clear this lifetime. And I do feel you've got a lot of divine protection. So just connect with other like-minded souls, divine feminine. I feel you're going through this major rejuvenation process, and I kind of feel a lot of the feminines are coming into a lot of new ideas, a lot of new creative sparks when it comes to their work, when it comes to what it is that they do, when it comes to moving forward. So I do think get ready for that major paradigm shift to take place this week. So let's jump in with the tarot, and I'm going to use the Tarot of Dreams by Chiron Machete. I hope I said that right. And we will clarify with the Gilded Tarot if need be. So King of Cups on the bottom of the deck. 8 of Cups. Walking away from that false foundation, I feel, is what's taking place for the masculine. What else can you tell me about the masculine, please? We got the Queen of Coins. Ooh, so I do feel there's you've got your back turned the way it fell out. So there's the feminine, grounded, stable, solid. She's got abundance. She don't need for nothing. And I feel the masculine is coming in because he sees that you do have many, many options. A lot of coin energy. So there's that mental mind fuckery. The masculine's trapped because he doesn't know how to come forward. I think he's frozen in fear. He knows you have many, many options. He's trying to plan, you know, how to come forward. He does see that brand new beginning with you, but he's still trapped in that bubble of sifting through all of these energies with the 7 of Cups. I feel the masculine is coming into a lot of truth. A lot of truth. The Palace of Swords, it's like that divine truth is washing over the masculine. And I do feel he does feel the feminine really has turned her back. And most of us have, because we've released that burden. We have consciously released that burden. Isn't that funny? This is exactly where the feminine was when she was abandoned by the masculine. In that fetal position, at rock bottom, you know, praying for answers, wishing for answers. And I feel the masculine now is learning this strict lesson, tapping into, you know, this expansive journey when it comes to walking away from this loving connection. So I kind of feel as the feminine releases any residual pain, that is in turn bringing in a lot of movement, something about that moon cycle. So I think luck and fortune is on your side, either around the new moon or the full moon. A lot of expansive energy. Could be dealing with a Cancer or a Pisces. But I feel the divine feminine really is coming into that aligned union of self, which is spinning the wheel forward for a lot of expansive growth. And I feel, and then that's the masculine dealing with that betrayal, how he deeply betrayed the feminine and himself, shifting that perception when it comes to all of the lies. I think get ready for the masculine to come forward with that apology when it comes to all of the lying, all of the breadcrumbing, all of the thieving, the manipulating, the gaslighting, the gossiping. You know, the feminine or the masculine played in to that devil contract, to that karmic contract. And this is coming to a close because, you know, I think the masculine is at that rock bottom, and this is to balance the scales. They're losing faith. They're losing hope. They've ignored the higher power, and the time is now for that deep-seated healing to take place. So yeah, deception. The masculine was wearing a mask, deceiving everybody all around him. And this is all stemming around this past life karma that the twins came here to clear, forgiving and learning. So what else can you tell me about the energies for the week ahead for the twins, please? True love, you know, true love. Pardon me. I forget what song it is. I'm not sure the name of the song, but Trampoline maybe, or I had a dream I got everything I wanted. Kind of like a freaking nightmare, right? So although it's been a nightmare of a lifetime, this truly is a romance of a lifetime. But the masculine is going to have to release the past. And we are going to need to trust, because I think we are going to have that heart-to-heart conversation this week. The masculine knows the only way to save face is to come forward and to honestly discuss this with the divine feminine. You are being called to have faith, divine feminine. Yes, this is the one. But the divine masculine has a huge, huge battle to face in order for this resolution to take place. So we're going to get a couple twin flame oracle messages from my handmade deck and see what else needs to come through for the twins for the week ahead. Co-create your journey, and that's exactly what we came here to do, to co-create our reality. So I kind of feel divine timing is saying this is the week where the masculine has to make that choice to clearly decide what it is that he wants, because the feminine is going on to greatness with or without the masculine. So I think a lot of higher astral thought travel. I feel a lot of the masculines are really tapping into those higher realities as the feminine kind of stays in the present moment. You know, as the feminine comes into alignment and really enjoys the journey and everything that it brings forward, we really do attract the masculine back forward. So I kind of feel a lot is happening in the fifth dimension this week. I think a lot of the masculines are journeying in nighttime. I know ever since I received the confirmation from the third-party communication that my masculine is dealing with a lot of sacred rage and anger and hitting that rock bottom, my masculine has been coming through in dream space every night. So I feel that will likely be mirrored in the divine masculine's life. And he's really going to need to get grounded, I feel, because we are stepping into these healing miracles. And this really is about going deep within those unresolved issues with our parents. I think a lot of the masculines have a lot of trauma surfacing this week in order for them to embrace self-love, because we are coming into that alchemical union within the heart space. Let's get some twin flame messages. What would the masculine like to say to the feminine? I know most of us have not had communication in a very long time. So what does the masculine wish to say to the feminine with these energies? I swear I saw something flip. Yeah, there's that fear. Your words still linger in my mind. I know many of us reach out several times until we give up on reaching out. I know I've blasted my masculine a few times. We're going back like a couple years ago now, where I have screamed at him to clean up this mess, and yeah, I get nothing but silence. So I kind of feel the words that you've spoken are haunting the masculine, because yes, this connection is deeply affecting him. I think the masculine wants you to know, divine feminine, he's never ever forgotten you, even though you think he has, even though he's blocked you likely on every avenue. He's probably got a lot of fake social media accounts stalking you behind the scenes, because your beauty still moves him and this connection still deeply affects him. And he does. He misses you, regardless of what things look like in the outer reality. And there's that fear. Would you reject me? And I suppose that's the one thing that the masculine is needing to work through. Fear is an illusion. I think they fear that they're not going to be able to meet your expectations, but I don't think any of the feminines have any expectations at this point in time. Many of us have been striving towards manifesting that new soulmate because we're tired of the stagnancy. But let's get a couple last messages from Spirit. What other messages from Spirit would you like us to know about for the twins for the week ahead, please. Messages from Spirit. Yeah, processing these emotions is the first step towards healing. And the masculine has not wanted to process this pain. And I think the masculine needs to know when it's time to walk away from that toxic contract, because it's time to process this at the core. So everything is all right. Divine Feminine, release the need to know an outcome. I do feel the masculine has been through a very tough situation. I think this week is going to prove to be very difficult when it comes to them harboring their strength and their determination to recover what was lost. And the masculine needs to understand that karmic relationship isn't lasting, because the universe is trying to tell them it was never supposed to. It was meant to be temporary. And I think a lot of these masculines have clung to these false contracts for years longer than they should have. And I feel they're really trying to understand what makes their heart sing with joy in order to recapture their health and their vitality, because wherever they're at, it's fraught with deception, lies, trickery, thievery, and that divine partner is on the path this week. So get ready for some communication is a big, big message. So that's what I got for the week ahead, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a personal or a twin flame reading with me, please feel free to check out that description box below, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.